we go. There's a brand new video by the World of Warcraft team, as you can see. Cataclysm patch by patch, expansion recap. So I'm hoping they just give a quick overview of the patches here, maybe a little bit of a recap of when they were dropping as well, or something like that. But I haven't seen any of this. I just saw this pop up last night, and I thought to myself, it's a good video to watch, and I probably want to see the patches, like a quick recap by the WoW team as well. So gonna be watching this one right here. A good start to the day, just watching some Cataclysm content.
The year is 2010. On Earth, you're using your Windows Vista PC to look up Avatar showtimes, and your Facebook wall is telling you that Lady Gaga is wearing a meat dress. You need to mail your Iron Man 2 DVD back to Netflix, and on the way to the post office, the radio is abuzz about TikTok, the Kesha song. The app hasn't even been invented yet. In Azeroth, you're an absolute boss, having just vanquished entire armies of undead while ending Arthas's reign as the Lich King. World of Warcraft Cataclysm is going live, bringing with it sweeping changes to Azeroth and to many of WoW's systems as Deathwing bursts forth and shatters the world. Fast forward to today, and Deathwing is returning once again in Cataclysm Classic, launching May 20th. A lot has happened since 2010, so let's take a moment to revisit Cataclysm patch by patch for a refresher on the story and some of the features introduced. And take a look at the brand new changes coming in Cataclysm Classic. Patch 4.0.1 was the Cataclysm Systems pre-patch, which introduced several interface and system updates ahead of launch. Reforging was introduced, allowing players to allocate some of an item's secondary stat to a different secondary stat. And Mastery was introduced, offering a new secondary stat to consider. Spells and abilities changed, removing ranks in favor of simply scaling with character level, and an updated spellbook UI came along with that. Ammo was removed from the game, a nice quality of life improvement for hunters especially, while cloth, leather, and mail users saw their armor become as durable as plate, which normalized repair costs across classes. Patch 4.0.3 brought us the Shattering. Without warning, the corrupted dragon aspect Deathwing erupted from the stone heart of Deepholm, the domain of Earth within the elemental plane. Jagged fissures were torn across the land, and monstrous waves pummeled coastal regions. From Thousand Needles to the Blasted Lands, the surface of Azeroth was reforged through violent upheavals. Both Horde and Alliance were forced to defend their homes against Deathwing and his minions, burdened by the unsettling fear that the world as they know it has changed forever. The Shattering saw the continents of Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms reshaped, offering different experiences in previously existing areas and new adventures in never-before-seen zones. 2 races were unlocked, Goblins for Horde and Worgen for the Alliance, and fresh race and class combinations accompanied them. 9 new dungeons were introduced. Blackrock Caverns, a network of tunnels created by Deathwing in the Blackrock Mountains, where heroes face down members of the Twilight Hammer cult. The Throne of Tides, an underwater dungeon and part of the Abyssal Maw that was filled with Naga and ancients of the Old Gods. The Vortex Pinnacle located...
I like that you guys says Fabi's staff, as if I got the staff. Come on. Me, staff? Hey.
In the elemental plane, where armies of air elementals gathered and had to be stopped. The Stone Core, in the Temple of Earth above Deepholm that had fallen to the Twilight Hammer with the Mad Priestess Azil in control. The Lost City of Tol'vir and Uldum, which pit champions against the hostile Nefer Set, a faction of Tol'vir created by the Titans to guard their research facilities. The Halls of Origination, part of the Titan research facility of Uldum that was once used to develop new races, was left full of ancient defenses to protect from intruders. Grim Batol, a once great dwarven fortress that had been occupied by the Twilight Hammer and the corrupted Black Dragonflight, saw champions ride atop dragons to bombard enemies before engaging them in combat on foot. The Dead Mines, once the hideout of the Defias Brotherhood's leaders like Edwin Van Cleef, became the primary Defias stronghold from which new leader Vanessa Van Cleef plotted her vengeance. Shadowfang Keep, formerly home to Archmage Arugal and his Worgen until it was liberated by Horde adventurers, was occupied by Vincent Godfrey, traitor to both Gilneas and the Forsaken, and was a target of both the Alliance and the Horde.
Okay.
3 new raids saw champions face down some of the bigger threats and allies of Deathwing. Blackwing Descent was the lair of the resurrected Nefarian, son of Deathwing, and the site of the heinous experiments he conducted in attempts to create a new breed of chromatic dragons. Bastion of Twilight was the primary fortress of the Twilight Hammer. Cho'Gall, the leader of the cult, dwelled here, as well as Sinestra, mother of Nefarian and Onyxia, and creator of the first Twilight Dragons, reanimated and overseeing the creation of another Twilight Clutch. Throne of Four Winds was located inside the Skywall and was Alakir's personal lair. With the barrier between the elemental plane and Azeroth ruptured, his invasion needed to be stopped. Patch 4.1, Rise of the Zandalari, was the first major patch of Cataclysm. The days where the Great Troll Empire stretched across ancient Kalimdor were long past. Millennia of war and eternal strife have stripped these nations of their power, lands, and glory. As Azeroth recovered from the destruction of the Cataclysm, the world's divided troll population faced a bleak future. These dark times spurred the Trolls of the Zandalar, the historically wise and scholarly tribe from which all trolls originated, to take drastic action. They embarked on a bold crusade to save their race by uniting trolls into a single mighty empire. With the Zandalari's aid, the fallen capitals of the Gurubashi and the Imani nations, Zul'Gurub and Zul'Aman, began rebuilding, replenishing their forces for a bloody campaign to expand their territories. Yet, Vol'jin and his Darkspear trolls were not aligned with the Zandalari. They swore to stand with their Horde comrades.
This patch right here, by the way, I am really looking forward to this patch. Those dungeons and everything about the Rise of the Zandalari is just so good. I am really looking forward to this. I mean, I'm looking forward to every Cataclysm patch, to be fair, but this patch is really nice. I also really love the Hour of Twilight dungeons, even though that patch itself might not be the most exciting patch for a lot of people. Those dungeons, they were good.
And even work with the Alliance should the trolls ignite a new war on Azeroth. Soon, Vol'jin was forced to act on his promise, for if the Gurubashi and Imani were left to their own devices, the world would know the legendary strength and savagery of the ancient troll empires once again. With the trolls attempting to rebuild and reunite, Zul'Aman and Zul'Gurub were reimagined, becoming heroic 5-player dungeons. Guilds received some attention with the introduction of guild challenges that rewarded achievements and gold for completing various content in a guild group. The Guild Finder tool was also introduced, designed to help players find like-minded friends to tackle these new adventures with. And a very helpful quality of life improvement also came with this patch. The ability to resurrect allies from raid or party frames, instead of having to locate a fallen companion's body in the world. Patch 4.2, Rage of the Firelands, was the second major patch of Cataclysm. Across the...
Let's be real. Out of all the patches coming in Cataclysm Classic, this is gonna be the most exciting one, right? It simply just has to be. Yeah, Hour of Twilight comes with Dragon Soul, and that's why that patch might not be the most exciting patch, but those dungeons to me, those dungeons are so good. The Hour of Twilight, is it called End Times and Well of Eternity? They're just, all those dungeons are so nice. I just have such a nostalgic memory attached to those. I don't know why, but the Firelands patch, who's not looking forward to the Firelands patch? Firelands is the best raid of Cataclysm. It's one of the best raids of all time. Oh, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
The breadth of Azeroth, the Horde and the Alliance dealt crushing blows to Deathwing's elemental minions and fanatic Twilight's Hammer cultists. Through it all, the Earthen Ring had never wavered from its tireless charge, holding Azeroth itself together amid the tidal fury of errant magical energies that churned at the Maelstrom.
Yeah.
Yet, as the elements continued their chaotic upheaval, it seemed that the noble shamanic order might finally be on the verge of breaking beneath the great weight that rested on its shoulders. Even Thrall, for all his wisdom and skill, had grown aggravated by his failure to effectively communicate with Azeroth's elements. Recently, his calls were acknowledged, but the malevolent entity that responded had only intensified Thrall's fears and doubts. Patch 4.2 brought with it a new raid, the Firelands. This molten hellscape in the elemental plane was forged by the Titans to house Ragnaros and his servants. Ragnaros' invasion.
That one of the really cool things about the Firelands raid was if you did Ragnaros, and you notice he skipped leg day. when he steps out of the lava in that phase, Yeah, that was just really funny. The first time my guild encountered that, we just wiped because we started laughing our asses off. We just laughed so much. It was really good. We wiped because we couldn't stop laughing.
Invasion of Mount Hyjal could not go unanswered as champions took the fight to his domain. A new legendary item, Dragon Wrath Terragos's Rest, could be obtained after completing a considerable questline. This two-handed staff was incredibly powerful, and wielding it was a true testament to dedication. A nice quality of life change improved the durability display's warnings, adjusting yellow to signify 20% durability as opposed to a durability of 5. And access to a wealth of information and lore was added directly in-game with the introduction of the Dungeon Journal. Patch 4.3 Hour of Twilight was the third and final installment of Cataclysm, and its largest content update since launch. In the wake of the Cataclysm, Azeroth's champions rose up to thwart the forces of the maddened Black Dragon aspect, Deathwing. Thus far, the world's defenders had shattered the power base of the Twilight's Hammer cult and defeated the raging elemental lords Alakir and Ragnaros. Yet despite these victories, as long as Deathwing was free to pursue his twisted goals, Azeroth would remain under threat. No one was more aware of this fact than the great dragon aspects such as Dormu, Alexstrasza, Kalikos, and Ysera. Together with the wise shaman Thrall, they devised a plan to vanquish Deathwing with a weapon of his own design, the infamous Dragon Soul. Thrall and the noble aspects would call upon the Horde and Alliance to help him retrieve the artifact, no longer in existence, from the distant past. Those brave enough to face the challenge would embark on a perilous journey from Azeroth's apocalyptic end time to Dragon Soul's point of origin during the catastrophic War of the Ancients. If the heroes succeeded, an even more harrowing battle awaited them in their present. Hour of Twilight brought 3 new dungeons. Endtime saw heroes visit potential futures that would come to exist should Deathwing prevail, pitting them against visages of corrupted heroes of Azeroth, and ultimately facing down a tormented version of Nozdormu called Murozond, who created the infinite dragonflight and shattered the timeways in an attempt to subvert his own mortality. Well of Eternity flung heroes back 10,000 years in time, just before the Sundering, to assist Illidan and Tyrande in battling the Burning Legion, as Ashara attempted to bring Sargeras himself to Azeroth.
The Well of Eternity dungeon. Such a good place. Oh, I can't wait. And doing those dungeons, like if we get those dungeons on alpha, beta, or gamma difficulties, oi 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 oi.
Hour of Twilight saw heroes prepare for the final battle with Deathwing.
I will also say, even though Dragon Soul might not have been the most fondly remembered raid of all time, I will say the first half I really enjoyed, up until Hagra or whatever the name of, like the dual wielding shaman or something. Up until that boss, like after that it went downhill for me, like the last 3 or last 4 bosses. But up until that point, I think it was a pretty fun raid. The first 4 bosses, really good, and some of the trinkets in there were insane, by the way. Cunning of the Cruel. Just gonna put that one out there. Some of the trinkets from Dragon Soul was really funny and really good. So for me, Dragon Soul has a lot of mixed feelings, and I think they've already said that there will not be any raid finder in Cataclysm Classic, which I think is a really good thing. So, because back in the day, you would spam Raid Finder as well to get those trinkets on the Raid Finder difficulty, because some of the items were so good that if you couldn't get them on your heroic or normal raids, you fished for them in Raid Finder. And you also had people that did Raid Finder, died early, and just AFK'd. So it just promoted such weird gameplay behavior in the Raid Finder. People would queue, go AFK, and try to get free loot.
And fight alongside Thrall to bring the Dragon Soul to Wyrmrest Temple. The final raid, Dragon Soul, continued the fight in the besieged temple through the last of Deathwing's lieutenants and ultimately onto the Destroyer himself, as Thrall, the Dragon Aspects, and the champions of Azeroth attempted to end the Cataclysm once and for all. A new legendary pair of daggers called Fangs of the Father could be obtained by rogues after completing a multi-quest chain that concluded with the defeat of Deathwing. And the Raid Finder tool was introduced, offering a quick way for players to form a group for a specifically tuned version of the Dragon Soul raid. With all these epic storylines, legendary items, dungeons, raids, the Cataclysm era was densely packed. But perhaps one of the greatest systems introduced in all of Cataclysm, perhaps one of the greatest systems introduced in all of WoW, came with patch 4.3, Transmogrification. This new cosmetic system allows players to customize their gear like never before by copying the appearance of one item onto another. Gone were the days of mismatched armor and feeling like you had to choose stats over aesthetics. Long live the days of sick mogs and looking as good as you feel. In Cataclysm Classic, the core story and experiences will remain, but a few things have gotten some changes. Firstly, things are going to be faster. An increased content cadence will condense the entire expansion into about 1 year, while an expanded pre-patch means the action starts sooner. As of the pre-patch going live, the Shattering has come to Azeroth. The Kazan and Gilneas starter zones are now available, and Goblins and Worgen are unlocked and can be leveled up to 80. Transmogrification is unlocked, as are account-wide collections. New class and race combos are unlocked, along with class updates like talents and spells. Archaeology and reforging are also unlocked.
Yay!
Accelerated leveling from 1 to 80 is in place, which will help you roll alts in this faster environment. And flying is unlocked in the newly reshaped Kalimdor and Eastern Kingdoms. At launch, several more iconic features from Cataclysm will come online. 5 zones will be unlocked. Mount Hyjal, Vashir, Twilight Highlands, Uldum, and Deep Home will all be available for 80 through 85 questing. And the 9 dungeons we explored earlier that were part of patch 4.0.3 will all be unlocked, along with a new heroic dungeon system. The Tol Barad World PvP zone that pits Horde against Alliance for the control of 3 objectives will also unlock at launch, as will everyone's favorite fairgrounds, Darkmoon Island.
Oh yeah.
After launch, Throne of the Four Winds, Blackwing Descent, and Bastion of Twilight will make their appearance. And a new flexible raid lock system which allows players to do both the 10 and 25 player versions of raids in the same week. Plus, additional content updates will continue to roll out as the expansion unfolds. Thanks for joining us in this walk down memory lane. Since it's 2024, feel free to enjoy streaming your movies, scrolling 7 different social accounts, and not mailing any DVDs. But we hope to see you for some old school fun in Cataclysm Classic, launching May 20th.
Oh yeah, there we go boys, launching May 20th. With some changes. It's gonna be fun. New heroic system, what did it even mean? Epic, are there since TBC? The new heroic system, if they're talking about dungeons, that's basically the alpha, beta, gamma dungeons that we had from Wrath, for example. So that's the new heroic system. Haven't gotten an epic for over 100 hours. Alt Copium into epic shield and trinket. Oh no. But also, oh yes, epics. Oh yeah, 2 shields plus 1 trinket and still no sword. It is what it is, man. Yeah, I went on a 132 hour dry streak myself and then got 3 epics in 24 hours. Still missing the staff though. 3rd alt copium and no epics. Oh my days. That was a good recap of Cataclysm though, and what to be expecting the next couple of weeks/months right now. So that was a good recap. Good recap, and I'm looking forward to this. Every single patch I am really looking forward to. Like 4.1 is going to be good, 4.2 is going to be good, 4.3 is going to be good as well. Like, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. There's just so much good content in Cataclysm, and I can't even say what my favorite patch is, because once again, I have mixed feelings about Dragon Soul. I love the Well of Eternity dungeon, unlike all of the Hour of Twilight dungeons, but what I don't enjoy about that patch is maybe Dragon Soul and the Raid Finder, but we might not get Raid Finder. Then again, Firelands is a good raid, but doesn't have any really super exciting dungeons in that patch. But you have the Molten Front dailies, but then you have the Rise of the Sandalari. So there's so many good content updates coming in this expansion. It's going to be great, but I'm going to link you guys to the video as well in case you tune into the stream at some point, like during this time. So yeah, I'm going to give you guys the link to the video, and we're going to be checking out another one in just a little bit here. We're going to check out a video by Metagoblin in a little bit, but here is the video to the World of Warcraft team about the content updates coming